New Casablanca's spaceport district was organized chaos. Dozens of species conducting commerce in a maze of market stalls and cargo platforms that seemed to have no official regulation. Daniel Foster navigated the crowd with practiced ease, heading toward a cargo pickup that should have been routine. He was a freelance pilot and cargo handler, running small transport jobs that kept his aging ship operational and his debts manageable. The commotion near the transport platforms caught his attention. A group of Krynn traders harassing an elderly alien woman. The Asharan were a peaceful species, physically frail compared to more robust races, and this particular woman, Matriarch Senya, he'd learn later, was being shoved around by Krynn demanding protection payment. Most passers-by ignored the situation. Daniel wasn't particularly heroic, but watching someone's grandmother get pushed around triggered memories of his own grandmother, who'd raised him after his parents died. He intervened, stepping between Senya and the Krynn with polite firmness. "The lady said she's not interested. Maybe it's time you moved along." The Krynn were larger and armed, but they were opportunistic bullies who backed down when faced with actual resistance. After posturing and threats, they retreated. Daniel helped Senya gather her belongings. She thanked him in accented standard, her large Asharan eyes filled with gratitude. He brushed it off. Anyone would have done the same. But they both knew that wasn't true. He escorted her to a residential sector where Asharan families had settled. She was a matriarch visiting to finalize business arrangements, her usual security delayed by transport issues. Daniel delivered her safely, refused monetary payment, and considered the matter closed. 3 days later, Daniel received an unexpected communication. A formal invitation to visit the Asharan family compound, explaining that Asharan custom required proper acknowledgement of life debts. Daniel was uncomfortable but didn't want to insult anyone by refusing. He expected maybe a ceremonial thank you and a nice meal. What he got was far more elaborate. The Asharan compound was beautiful, traditional architecture with flowing curves and bioluminescent plants. He was greeted by what appeared to be Senya's entire extended family, all in formal attire. They shared an elaborate meal. Daniel made polite conversation, trying not to commit cultural faux pas. Then, as the meal concluded, Senya made an announcement. "Daniel Foster, you risked yourself to protect me when I was vulnerable. This created a life debt my family is honor-bound to repay. After much consideration, we have determined the appropriate response." She gestured, and a young Asharan woman stepped forward, mid-20s by human standards, with large expressive eyes and bioluminescent patterns shifting across her skin. "This is my granddaughter, Lyssa. It is our family's honor to offer her as your companion, to serve and support you as acknowledgement of the debt we owe." Daniel's brain stalled. "I'm sorry, did you just say you're offering me your granddaughter?" "Yes. It is the highest honor we can bestow, the gift of family, of connection. Lyssa has agreed. She will accompany you, assist in your work, and provide companionship." Daniel tried to process this through his human framework and failed. "Ma'am, I appreciate the gesture, but I can't just accept a person. That's not how humans do things." The family exchanged confused glances. Senya's son explained, "We are not offering Lyssa as property but as family. She will be bonded to you through our sacred customs, choosing to share your life. It is gift freely given." "But I didn't save your mother expecting payment," Daniel protested. "You don't owe me anything, certainly not." He gestured helplessly at Lyssa, who watched with increasing embarrassment. Senya's expression became serious. "Among the Asharan, life debts are sacred. To refuse proper acknowledgement would dishonor both my family and yourself." This response was chosen carefully, with Lyssa's full consent. To reject it would be to reject our gratitude and honor. Daniel requested to speak with Lyssa privately. Once alone in a garden area, Daniel turned to her. "I need to understand what's actually happening. Your family is offering you because I helped your grandmother. What does that mean in your culture?" Lyssa took a breath. When someone saves a matriarch's life, the debt can only be repaid through family connection. The matriarch's family offers their finest young member to bond with the savior. It is honored partnership, not servitude. And you agreed to this. I volunteered, Lyssa corrected. When grandmother told us what you did, how you stood against those who threatened her despite no obligation, I was moved. To bond with someone of such character would be honor, not burden. But you don't even know me. I'm a cargo hauler living on a ship that barely passes safety inspections. I have advanced degrees in xenobiology and linguistics. I've traveled to 17 systems. I volunteered because I saw in you genuine compassion without expectation of reward. That is worth more than comfort or status. I'm not rejecting you personally. I'm trying not to make a huge cultural mistake. Then accept, Lyssa said simply. Learn our customs as I learn yours. If after time this doesn't suit you, Asharan law allows honorable separation, but to refuse now would shame my family irreparably. Daniel found himself trapped between human instincts and cultural reality. What would this bond actually entail? Lyssa explained, a formal ceremony acknowledging their connection. She would be his partner in Asharan law with full agency but with cultural expectations. She would support his endeavors. He would protect and respect her. Not marriage exactly, but not nothing either. After much struggle, Daniel agreed, not because he wanted a companion, but because he couldn't refuse without causing harm, and because Lyssa seemed genuinely willing. The bonding ceremony happened 2 days later. Daniel made vows he didn't fully understand, guided by Lyssa's whispered translations. And then, suddenly, he had a partner. Lyssa moved onto his ship, the Wayward Star, a converted cargo hauler. If she was disappointed by cramped quarters and aging systems, she didn't show it, instead immediately assessing possible improvements. The first weeks were awkward. Daniel tried giving Lyssa space, uncomfortable with the situation. Lyssa took supporting his endeavors seriously, involving herself in route planning and cargo manifests, with an efficiency that actually improved his business. She was brilliant with logistics and had a gift for languages that helped negotiate with clients Daniel had struggled to communicate with. They established uneasy routine. Daniel handled piloting and heavy cargo. Lyssa managed communications and planning. During a difficult cargo run where their ship encountered mechanical failures, Lyssa proved she wasn't the delicate aristocrat Daniel assumed. She crawled into maintenance tubes alongside him, troubleshooting problems with expertise from her xenobiology background. "Where did you learn this?" Daniel asked. "Asharan matriarchs don't just sit in compounds," Lyssa replied. "We learned self-sufficiency. I've done maintenance since I was 12. Later he found her on the observation deck, bioluminescent patterns dim, indicating exhaustion. "You did good work today," he said. "Thank you for not being the useless ornament I feared my family was saddling you with." Her tone was dry. Daniel winced. "I never thought you were useless. I just didn't want you to feel trapped." "Daniel, I chose this. I chose to volunteer, to see where this connection could lead. The question is whether you can stop seeing me as an obligation and start seeing me as a partner." The challenge hit home. Daniel realized he'd been keeping Lyssa at arm's length, refusing to acknowledge they were building something that might actually work. "I'm not good at partnerships," he admitted. "I work too much, forget to communicate. I'm basically married to cargo routes." "Fortunately," Lyssa said with a slight smile, "I happen to be excellent at logistics, communication, and maintenance schedules. Perhaps we complement each other." Gradually, awkwardness transformed into genuine partnership. They developed rhythms and jokes, learned each other's preferences. Professional partnership deepened into friendship, then something neither quite knew how to name but both recognized as valuable. 6 months after bonding, they encountered the same Krynn traders who'd harassed Senya. The Krynn recognized Daniel and, more importantly, recognized the Asharan woman beside him, understanding he had formal connection to a matriarch family. What could have been confrontation became grudging respect. Your family knew this would happen, didn't they? Daniel asked Lyssa later. That offering you would benefit both of us. Of course. Did you think we repay life debts with burdens? The bond was meant to be mutually advantageous. That you're also kind and honorable and surprisingly good company is fortunate bonus. And the fact that we work well together. Lyssa's patterns shifted to warmer colors. That was hoped for but not guaranteed. Some bondings remain purely formal. Ours has become something more. 1 year later, they returned to the compound for traditional anniversary acknowledgement. During the ceremony, Daniel made new vows in his own words. A year ago, I agreed to this bond to avoid insulting people I respected. I didn't understand what I was accepting. Now I do. Lyssa, you're the best partner I could have asked for. I choose this bond now not from obligation, but from genuine desire to keep building whatever we're building together. Lyssa's patterns flared with joy and affection. Her vows acknowledged she volunteered from duty, but stayed from choice. Years later, they ran one of the most successful independent cargo operations on Meridian 5. They became advocates for cross-species cultural exchange, sharing their story as example of how misunderstandings can transform into meaningful connections. When asked how he ended up bonded to an Asharan woman, Daniel told the story honestly. I helped an elderly woman being harassed. Her family insisted on repaying me by offering her granddaughter. I was horrified. She was resigned to duty, and somehow we made it work by choosing to actually partner rather than just fulfill obligations. He always